This is Personal Injury Court.
This is Wilson versus Atkins. Ms. Wilson, it's my understanding that you are suing Mr. Atkins for hitting your foot with a forklift and tearing part of it off. You are asking this court to award you $250,000 for past medical expenses, $150,000 for future medical expenses, $2 million for scarring and disfigurement, and $2.7 million for pain and suffering, for a total award of $5.1 million. That's what you want, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Atkins, it's your position she shouldn't have been there, and if she had been responsible, this would have never happened.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's get into the legal sauce. Now, Ms. Wilson, why'd you file this lawsuit?
I started working. I went into shipping, a warehouse shipping, and 6 months ago, I was promoted as supervisor in a male-dominant area.
Women are changing the world, getting into the guys' stuff.
We are.
You're enjoying it?
I love it.
So, Mr. Atkins, tell me about your job. What do you do?
I'm a truck driver. Truck driver, been in the family for the longest of times. You know, my grandpappy did it, my dad did it, and now I'm doing it.
Two of my brothers are truck drivers.
Oh, that's great.
You deliver things, I take it?
Yes.
What kinds of things do you deliver?
We deliver whatever a client may need. We work for about 50 companies.
Okay.
We transport to over 100 locations.
So, Ms. Wilson, what went wrong here?
I am looking over my inventory, making sure everything is correct. No one is in the warehouse but me.
Why would that be? Is it a break or something?
Yes, all my employees are going on break.
Okay.
That's when I know there's no machinery on. It's no reason for nothing to be going wrong at this point because I'm the only one there.
Your Honor, first I'd like to say, why would you have all your employees at lunch at the same time?
Okay.
It's a time schedule. How are you inconveniencing me because of your personal agenda?
Simply because
like, why are you doing that? Look how much time that you're wasting by doing this.
Mr. Atkins, talk to me. So, Ms. Wilson, tell me what happened.
As I'm in the warehouse and I'm going through my stuff and I'm stepping back, and as I'm going back, I get this sharp pain into my left heel where he is on my forklift and slams into my left heel. I'm down, I'm on the ground.
Did you know you had struck her leg or her foot?
I felt a little bump and I seen it there, and as soon as I seen it there, I called and
Is
got
she
help.
down on the
She's
concrete?
down on the ground, yeah.
You remember this, obviously, Ms. Wilson.
Yes, I was down, I was screaming, I was in pain. I've never in my life felt this type of pain before, ever.
So there's no one really around but you and Mr. Atkins at this
Correct.
point. So then what do?
I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in the hospital.
Mr. Atkins, do you remember this incident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me how this happened from your perspective.
So this is a company that I've been working with for 4 years now.
Okay. So basically what you do, you pick up a load,
Yes.
and then you deliver it to the warehouse.
Yes.
Right? When you get to the warehouse, is there a certain routine that you go through to deliver your load?
It's always, you get there, drop your load off to somebody, they take care of it, but sometimes they can't take care of it. So because I'm certified and driving a forklift, they gave me the okay to go ahead and do it.
So, Ms. Wilson, on this day when Mr. Atkins brought his load, what was he supposed to do?
Your Honor, he's supposed to wait on staff. He's supposed to wait on them because they are the ones that help unload the truck. And when he gets out of his truck, he's supposed to sign his name, time, and date, and that's when I will come and I will signature off showing that he did come and make the drive.
And then once he completes the paperwork, your staff grabs the forklift and unloads the truck with your forklift.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Atkins, you actually went in and got the forklift yourself.
Yes, I did. The previous manager told me that I had the authorization to do that.
So to be clear, you knew about the policy.
Yes, I did.
Folks told you could do it another way.
That's why he got fired, the other supervisor, because of the situation of him coming in and doing what he wanted to do. It didn't work that way.
So how's he supposed to know that we're doing it differently?
This has been a rule that's been going on before I even became supervisor.
But he said for years he's been allowed to do this. Why
That's
wouldn't he
correct.
just do it the same way?
No, sir, not on my watch, because safety is my protocol, and that's what I'm going by. If they can't get with it, then...
And so what happened to your foot?
I have a hole in my foot this big, in my heel. They had to take muscle out of my left thigh to place inside of my heel to try to give me somewhat of a balance.
Yes, ma'am.
But it would never be the same because I'll forever have like a limp. I would have hip problems. I mean, my whole life is completely shattered. I can never wear heels again. I've done all kind of stuff. I used to travel. I have children.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can still
You know,
travel.
and I have all these, I have responsibilities. My husband is sick. I'm the breadwinner in my family.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and
Well,
so,
to further understand your injuries, I want to call Dr. Darren Newfield to explain this injury from a medical perspective. Sheriff, if you'll get Dr. Newfield.
Yes, Your Honor.
Doctor, for the record, state your name.
Dr. Darren Newfield.
And what kind of doctor are you?
I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Doctor, tell us the nature and severity of Miss Wilson's injury.
Well, she sustained an injury to her calcaneus, which is the heel bone. This image shows her calcaneus and the multiple bones that were fractured.
So this forklift basically took her heel off.
Yeah, we call it a crush injury because it's not just an injury to the bones. There's also a significant injury to the soft tissues around the heel. The muscles, the tendons, the nerves, the arteries can be involved. And so with a crush injury, our biggest worry in the beginning is for infection.
Okay.
And so we have to take the person to surgery multiple times, usually to wash out the heel, remove any debris from the forklift or from her shoes. And then she's left with a big soft tissue defect.
Is it accurate to call this a life-changing injury?
Oh, well, this is a life-altering injury, definitely. Sometimes if the injury is severe, we do a below-knee amputation if you can't salvage the foot. The physician who did her surgery
Yes, sir.
actually was able to salvage the foot. In order to fill in this soft tissue defect, they took skin and soft tissue and muscle from her thigh to cover the heel soft tissue defect.
Miss Wilson, how are you able to get around now?
I'm sorry, I get very emotional because this is like a super life-changing moment.
Yes, ma'am. I see that you brought a scooter.
Yes, sir.
Is that something you have to use every day?
I do, constantly.
Can you show me how this scooter helps you get around?
With it, I have to put my left leg into it, and I have to move carefully around, and I have to go like this. I mean, and it takes time, especially if you have to go to the restroom.
So moving around your house, you have to use this scooter.
Yes, I don't go to the stores because to me it's embarrassing. I don't want to be out like this.
So, Miss Wilson, the back of your heel was basically torn off.
Correct.
Now, I see you've got that boot on. Have you tried to wear shoes?
I can't, and the reason why I can't is because of the heel. It's not healed completely, in which it probably never will be.
Doctor, what's the future like for Miss Wilson with this kind of injury?
Well, it takes 6 months to a year to just heal from the injury. The first 6 months, usually you can't put your foot on the ground. There's no weight bearing. And in the second 6 months, that's when you do a lot of rehab and therapy just to try to regain as much function as possible.
So is this scooter a lifetime apparatus for her?
It may or may not be, depending on how much she can recover. She clearly has long-term deficits with her foot and ankle. It'll never be the same. She'll never be able to wear normal shoes.
Will she be able to walk naturally?
Maybe she could just wear flats or something like that.
Well,
So don't be so insensitive about this.
Your Honor,
This is an injury that you caused. Look at that. You cannot be callous about that. Our society puts a lot of pressure on women to be beautiful and perfect. You clearly can't be perfect. You still are a beautiful woman, but this has got to weigh on your mind. Tell me about that.
It's very emotional, and actually I do some therapy sections because it has messed with me emotionally.
I see here in that you're seeking $2 million for permanent scarring and disfigurement. Your foot is disfigured, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I see also that you're asking this court to award you $2.7 million for pain and suffering. I imagine this never leaves your mind.
It doesn't. This has really been a life change experience for me.
I also see that you have $150,000 for future medical expenses.
Yes.
Doctor, is that reasonable? Is that what she's looking at?
it's a reasonable amount, I would assume. She could have multiple more surgeries on this foot and ankle if she can save it. Sometimes we save it in the beginning, in the first couple of years, and then the patient ultimately goes on to a below-knee amputation.
So she may be facing an amputation.
She still could lose this foot.
if they're professionals, they should be able to save it.
So you're a doctor now.
Well,
I'm not a doctor, but I
So
feel like
you
if
should,
you,
Wow.
if you
Mr.
carry
Atkins.
that title,
Mr. Atkins,
Wow.
I'm not going to talk over you.
Wow.
You are not a doctor and you have not gone to medical school, but let me take you to law school. When you are operating a forklift, you must do so responsibly. Not because you did it irresponsibly 1,500 times before. Every time you must take care. I see from your passion that you believe you did, but stay in your lane. Doctor, you may be released. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Mr. Atkins, you've seen the diagrams, you've heard the testimony,
Yes, Your
you've
Honor.
heard the doctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You still just say, look, this is not my fault.
See, again, Your Honor, I don't say that this isn't my fault. In the terms of me doing my job, I feel like I did what I did right. I did everything I needed to do. I feel like she was in the wrong place at the wrong time when the accident occurred.
Tell me why you think that she was in the wrong place.
The reason I feel like she's in the wrong place because, you know, she talks about how she cleared it out, no one should be in there. If you work in a factory, this is a known fact from any company, anywhere, that you should not be close to that danger zone at any time because you never know when someone will be operating the vehicle.
Now, you say a danger zone. You can go to the monitor. You can tell me why you say that's a danger zone.
If you look right here, this is the danger zone. And as you can see, she walked backwards. If you're at a factory job, why would you walk backward? There's danger at any moment of time, no matter who you are, whether you're a supervisor who tells all your employees to leave or whether that everyone was self-aware. You have to be on your toes, male or woman. It doesn't matter. Your instinct has to be intact whenever you are in a factory.
Miss Wilson, is that a danger zone where you should have stayed out?
It is a danger zone, but I normally always keep the area clear.
But no
It
matter
was clear.
what, no matter if it's clear or not, it is always told to take precaution, to always look where you're going when you're walking. That's common sense, Your
You may
Honor.
return to the podium.
Thank you.
Miss Wilson, do you admit that this was a pathway that is usually kept clear for safety reasons?
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
I mean, forklifts aren't really like tricycles. They make noise. They've got beepers. You can hear them. Why wouldn't you hear this forklift?
On that day, because it's so loud in the warehouse, and I actually have
And to point out, Your
my
Honor,
safety
I
headphones.
was just talking to her. It's okay. I will get to you. I promise.
I have my safety headphones, in which we have these.
So you had those on this day?
Yes, sir, I did.
Are those noise canceling? Why do you have those on?
Because of the noise in the warehouse.
Sheriff Matt, will you retrieve those headphones from Miss Wilson? I want to see them. Now, I'm going to put these on, Matt, and I want you to talk to me as loud as you see fit so I can see what this noise canceling is about. Now, when I point to you, Matt, I want you to talk to me.
That green's a great color on you, Judge.
Say something again a little louder.
Can you hear me now?
I see how this would muffle your sound. With these on, you prevent an opportunity to hear him.
I would expect no one to be there. And again, if someone had come to the dock and whatnot, and they did what they're supposed to do by ringing the bell, it would alert me. Nobody has done that.
but if you cleared it, then you shouldn't even have to worry about it being super loud because it was cleared. Everyone was on lunch.
I think I've heard what I need to hear, folks. I'm ready to render my decision. In every personal injury case, the plaintiff, you, Ms. Wilson, have to prove that Mr. Atkins was wrong and that his wrong caused your injuries. You've had your heel torn off. You didn't know this was going to happen. When you figured it out, you were already in the heart of tragedy. Unfortunately, the law doesn't just look at your injury, it looks at everything. It looks at whether Mr. Atkins was wrong. Now, Mr. Atkins, you didn't expect she'd be in the safety zone.
No, Your
You
Honor.
certainly didn't expect she'd be walking backwards with headphones on.
No, Your Honor.
But her actions don't absolve you of the responsibility to be safe. Now, part of being safe is to abide by the rules, and the rules require that you get some of her folks, I'm speaking right now, that you get some of her folks to help with this forklift, and this may not have happened. Here, I find, Ms. Wilson, that you proved that Mr. Atkins was wrong. He should have waited because it would have been safer. Because he was wrong, this injury is his fault. and I find that you are entitled to $250,000 for past medical expenses, $150,000 for future medical expenses, every penny of $2 million for permanent scarring and disfigurement, and I'm giving you $2.7 million for your pain and suffering for a total award of $5.1 million.
It's my family business, and this, oh my.
That is my final award, and this matter is adjourned. Our attorneys across America just viewed this case for the first time. Let's hear what Chad Dudley has to say.
Now that injury was gruesome. In this case, Miss Wilson's injuries were caused by someone other than a coworker. Some people don't realize that if you're hurt at work and your injury was caused by a person other than your employer or a coworker, you may have a right to sue them for personal injuries in addition to pursuing a workers' compensation claim.
Judge Gino Brogdon spent 10 years on the bench ruling on cases worth billions of dollars. Now he presides over some of the largest claims in TV history. This is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Davidson versus Campbell. From the materials that you all have submitted to this court, it's my understanding, Ms. Davidson, that you are suing Ms. Campbell for injuries that you sustained while cleaning her house. You're asking this court to award you $15,000 for your medical expenses and $65,000 for emotional distress for a total award that you seek of $80,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Campbell, your position on this is she's supposed to clean and her injuries are her fault.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's get into the legal sauce. Ms. Davidson, how did you come to clean Ms. Campbell's house?
Well, I was previously working for another family, the Cushers, and they recommended me to the Campbell family. So I've been working for the Campbell family for about 3 years.
So you're pretty much a regular at their house.
I am, Your Honor. I do the bathrooms, I change the sheets, I start the laundry. Unfortunately, I also look after the children sometimes. I mop the floors. I do everything, everything a housekeeper should do.
So, Ms. Campbell, this is a full service that Ms. Davidson is offering you, right?
It is, Your Honor.
And she did a good job up until this day, right?
She does a good job, yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Davidson, you're cleaning the house. What happened?
Well, on this particular day, Miss Vivian had asked me to change the contact paper in the kitchen. I decided to go all the way up to the top. I'm doing a great job. I skip lunch.
You're trying to be thorough.
I am thorough because I am very good at what I do. So I continue working and I get to a high shelf and I see that there are some cookies.
She said she couldn't go on the high shelf.
She has always told me, mi casa, su casa.
You thought you had the run of the house while you cleaned.
Of course,
okay.
Absolutely. So because I had worked through lunch, I got a cookie and I ate one cookie.
You were hungry.
I was starving.
Okay.
It tasted a little bit strange.
Now, in the past,
yes,
have you gone into the fridge and gotten a little something to eat while you clean, that kind of stuff?
Of course.
And was that okay?
Absolutely.
You welcome that kind of thing?
The fridge is fine, Your Honor. Becoming a cabinet climber, I didn't expect.
These cookies, was it in a cookie jar, a plate? What was it up there on the shelf?
Yes, Your Honor. It was in a glass jar.
I see you've brought a jar of cookies.
Yes, sir.
That's not the jar of cookies, right?
It is not, Your Honor.
Okay, but it was like
I'm
that.
a law-abiding citizen.
So you eat the cookie?
I eat a total of 3.
Okay.
And I
you were really
working.
hungry then.
I was
Okay.
very hungry. And so I start feeling a little funny, a little lightheaded, but I didn't know if it was because I hadn't had lunch, right?
Okay.
So I kind of hold on to the shelf that I was working on, and the next thing I know, I'm nauseous, I'm sweating, I'm dizzy, and I fall off the stool.
The stool she said she couldn't go onto.
Excruciating pain. I have never said that.
So you fall off the stool onto the floor?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. And so I actually have to crawl on my hands and knees to get to my phone to call my son, who is luckily at home.
Were you hurt?
I was in excruciating pain. I was also very nauseous, again, like I said, and I ended up throwing up.
And you didn't know what was going on?
I didn't know if I was having a stroke.
Call
I had
911.
no idea what was going on.
Now you've got someone cleaning your house.
Yes,
they
sir.
fall off a stool,
Yes, Your Honor.
hurt themselves. That's got to be of some concern to you. Right?
Your Honor, here.
Yes or no? It's some concern, right?
Concerned.
Why is it so hard?
It's hard, Your Honor, because for the 3 years that she's worked with my husband and I,
Yes, ma'am.
she was very clear from the beginning she cannot clean anything up high. She
Okay.
is afraid to go up on ladders.
She
That is
told you she
not
was
true.
afraid of heights?
3 years ago.
And so why would you have her clean above just floor level then?
This is how it happened, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me.
All that she was supposed to do. There were drawers. The contact paper needed to be changed in those, and on the first 2 levels of shelves. Okay? No one sees those shelves up high. Why would I care if they have contact paper up there? And
I was doing a good job. I was going above and beyond. I was
Above and
trying
beyond
to make
because you
you
know you're
happy.
Miss Davidson,
on high before.
Miss Davidson, you actually submitted a photograph of the shelves in the kitchen, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I see you've got your scooter. Is it okay for you to come over here and show me what we're looking at?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, could you do that for me? And Sheriff Matt, help her as much as you can.
It just might take me a
Take
little
your
bit.
time.
Thank
Take
you.
your time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. I'm going to have to back in.
So, Miss Davidson, tell us what we're looking at here.
So this is the kitchen where I have cleaned for the past 3 years.
And Miss Campbell, that's your kitchen.
It is my kitchen.
Those
Your
are
Honor.
your shelves.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss Davidson, tell us what this photograph does.
And I'd also like to just point out that these are open shelves. So these are not closed cabinets. So everything visually you can see clearly.
Miss
Levels of
Davidson, where
shelves.
did you find these cookies?
Right up here on the very top right-hand corner.
So on that top right-hand corner where the circle is, that's where you found these cookies.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you thought they were just ordinary cookies.
Absolutely.
That I
Yes, Your
keep
Honor.
on the very top.
And so how soon after you ate these cookies did you find yourself feeling faint and eventually fall?
I came down and went
All
up.
back up.
And down and went up. And then I had the third cookie. And about 15 minutes had passed. And that's when I knew something was very, very wrong. And I wasn't sure what it was. I wasn't sure if it was because I hadn't eaten or if perhaps I was having a stroke or some medical condition. But I didn't have time to really come down and react. I held on to the shelf and I fell.
So you fell off the stool
Yes, Your Honor.
onto the floor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's how you hurt your ankle.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may go back to your podium. Take your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I approach the screen?
Please,
Thank
please.
you.
Tell us about your house and your shelves.
As you can see, these are drawers, and then there are the open shelves. This row, right here. All she was supposed to do.
But she was trying to do a good job for you, right?
Yes, Your Honor, she apparently was. However, if she was that hungry, why did she keep going up for a cookie? Why didn't she eat her lunch?
Your Honor, because I was trying to finish, and so I thought if I had just a small snack, I could just keep going and finish the job.
So, Ms.
And it-
Campbell, you
Bam.
understand that, right? You understand she's trying to move this along, get your job done?
It just seems very odd to me, Your Honor, that she's never gone on a ladder, and all of a sudden this day,
You've
she
never
wants
asked me to go on a
My turn.
ladder.
She wants to do such a good job. She's way up here.
Now, listen,
in a
I must
cookie
say,
jar.
cookies and chips are my weakness. The reason I asked about the cookies and leaving them up there, not the cookies, the ones you ate,
Yes, Your
but
Honor.
the cookies, I would have eaten this whole jar.
But, Your Honor, would you climb, if you were afraid of heights, would
And
you
Matt, I
climb
know
up
you would have
there?
eaten 2 of these jars.
Yes, sir.
I put them where no one could reach them.
Now, how is she supposed to know that they're not just cookies?
Your Honor.
There was no label. There was no label
There
on
wasn't
there.
a label
What
on
do
it.
you think
Skull
the
and
label's gonna
crossbones.
say?
There was nothing on there that said
Hello?
that I couldn't have the cookie.
Ladies, talk to me. Talk to
I'm
me.
sorry, Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Yes, ma'am. So how's she supposed to know, Miss Campbell,
She
that
didn't need
these
to know
cookies have
this
things
thing.
in them?
There's other food down there. See, look at the other cookies over there. She could have eaten those cookies.
But did you ever say to her, similar to Simba saying, "Don't go into the dark country"? Did you ever say to her, Don't go to those cookies.
I never actually said to her, because she's afraid of ladders, don't go up the ladder.
I don't know why you keep
and eat
saying
the
that.
top.
That's not true.
Because that's what you said.
So, Miss Davidson, after you hit the floor, what happened?
So when I hit the floor, and I called my son, and luckily for us, he was home.
Oh, come on. If it were that serious, you would have called 911.
He was able to come right away, and he took me to the emergency room.
And this is your son you brought to court today?
Yes, it is.
Sir, would you stand, please, and come to the podium?
Yes, Your Honor.
For the record, tell me your name.
My name is Brian Davidson.
So, Mr. Davidson, what do you remember about this?
Well, my mom called me in the middle of the day. Immediately, as soon as I answered the phone, I knew something was wrong. She did not sound like herself.
Did you think your mom was high?
At the start, I did not. The only thing I could tell on the phone was that she was just having a hard time pronouncing her words. Like she might have been out of breath or something.
Did you know whether she was injured or not?
Towards the end of the call, she told me that she had fallen and she had hurt her ankle and that I needed to come over and help. And then once I got there, I walked inside and I found her on the floor in the kitchen. Was she
distraught?
She was. She was crying. She was in pain. She was slow moving.
It had to be hard to see your mom like that.
Yeah, it was very hard. As soon as I walked in, I almost started crying right then and there.
At this point, your mom didn't really have any idea as to why she had fallen, right?
No, she really had no idea what was going on.
So did you go to the hospital with her?
I did. I picked her up, I put her in the car, and I drove her to the hospital.
Did she look like she was high?
Her eyes were glossy. So at that point, I didn't know for sure.
Did she make you do a munchie stop-off so she could deal with it?
No, Your Honor, no. But I was pretty sure she was high at the moment.
And what happened at the hospital?
They did tests, they did x-rays, they did some blood work. I actually do have some evidence here with the test results right
Sheriff Matt, if you'll get this from Mr. Davidson. Thank you, sir. Okay, what I see here is a toxicology report.
Yes.
This reads positive for THC, which is the psychedelic agent in marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you got from the hospital?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, when you're making cookies at the Campbell home, do y'all usually put weed in them?
Sometimes we do. We have,
So it's a party house.
We have, I wouldn't say it's a big party house, but we do have baking parties that
small
she's
party
aware
house.
of.
What?
So, Ms. Davidson, a little sensitive, but do you use marijuana?
Absolutely not. I never.
She did that day.
I don't.
Ms. Campbell, is this funny to you?
Your Honor, it's just funny.
This could have been a very bad situation.
It could have, but
right?
If she's saying that it was...
And it's your weed cookies, right?
Yes, they were.
Well, at least don't laugh about it.
I'm not really
this is
laughing
a serious
at
matter.
the injury. I'm laughing at how she blows it out of proportion when she shouldn't have been on the ladder.
Now, Ms. Campbell, you see that this is a really out of the ordinary, bizarre experience for Ms. Davidson and for her son, actually.
I do, Your Honor. I see that. But it was equally as bizarre for me.
Well, you weren't high that day, though.
No.
Not that day.
See, so she knew. She acts like, I didn't know about what was going on. She most certainly knew.
Well, wait a minute. Ms. Davidson, did you know that there was marijuana in this home?
Heavens, no, but after this...
Not at all?
Oh.
Not at all.
Oh, that is untrue,
If I had
Your
known,
Honor.
I would have been out of there in a hot minute.
Ms. Campbell, you say that she should have known that there was marijuana in the home.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you say that?
Because the bong on the table in the den, she picks it up, she dusts under it.
What did you think that was?
Well, it looked like a vase.
No
it had
one's that
water in
naive.
it.
Okay, there weren't any flowers in the bong, right?
Exactly, and the water was dirty.
So if she doesn't know what a bong is, how's she to know there's marijuana in the house?
Because when my girlfriends come over and we do our baking, we have the cookbook out.
And what's it say?
Baking with pot.
Okay. Now, Ms. Davidson, baking with pot seems kind of obvious. Why wouldn't that clue you in?
Your Honor, there are new pots on the market that you bake in.
She has seen.
That's what I thought. I am not used to this type
So
of
you thought it
thing.
was baking with pots, as in what
As
you
in
put?
a pot,
What
yes.
Matt likes beans and wieners. What you
don't
cook
bake
beans
with
and
pots
wieners
anyway.
Yes.
in? Okay.
Your Honor, I I can't believe that I've been poisoned. I've never done drugs ever.
Are you a little embarrassed?
I'm completely and utterly embarrassed. I can't imagine like telling my friends that I've ingested illegal drugs from my employer. And not only that, like my injury, I am now out of a job, but my injury is secondary to what I'm feeling. Like, I can't believe this. And my son had to come, and now he knows that his mother did drugs.
So it sounds like it's, I mean, you suffered an injury. Obviously, you have a scooter here, but
Yes.
this is more about how this has banged up your how you feel about this.
Absolutely, Your Honor. I can't even express to you enough, like, what this has done to me.
But this is not about the torn ligaments in your ankle or your broken toe. It's about the emotional injury, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies, I think I've heard everything I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision. Miss Davidson, you were just cleaning the house. You thought you were climbing up to put contact paper on the high shelf. You had no idea that you would be high and you're gonna fall.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss Campbell, you thought that she would stay in her lane and stay away from the weed cookies.
And
True?
not go high.
That's why you put them up high, right?
Right.
Well, when I analyzed the three legs of the personal injury case, wrong cause injury, there's obviously an injury. It obviously was caused by this fall and by the weed, but the wrong is shared. That is, you should have labeled or put those cookies away. They're not ordinary cookies. You, on the other hand, you saw them on an open shelf. You saw those cookies were up there and your lunch was in the refrigerator. You could have as easily and as quickly eaten your lunch rather than these cookies. So you bear some fault for your injuries, but not all of the fault. 51% of this, Miss Campbell, is yours. 49% of this is yours, Miss Davidson. That's why this court is not going to award you $80,000, because you have fault in your injuries. This court is going to award you $40,800, which is 51% of what you asked for. So I find in your favor and against Miss Campbell. That is my verdict, and this matter is adjourned. Our attorneys across America just viewed this case for the first time. Let's hear what Leonard Lundy has to say.
This case really illustrates an important point about storing drugs of all types and source. Put them safely and securely away. Help prevent children or someone like the plaintiff from accidentally ingesting them. And please, keep the phone number for a poison control center handy in case of an emergency.